Evening all, and welcome to episode 48 of Kerbalism. Last time out we managed to put a probe in orbit of Kerbal where it wanted to be for the contract, got some funds for that. And we've put a probe in orbit of the moon, but it's not quite right yet, we've just got to tweak it a little bit to get the contract complete. And we were sending this little base here down to that big grey rock below us called the moon. And here we are on said collision course for Giant Grey Rock. We're going to be landing over here somewhere, but I'm going to obviously slow down before that and try and come down here. But there's an issue. This engine, when fired at speed, is just causing us to flip round out of control. So I'm thinking of turning that one off. Land engine. And bringing all these ones online with a lovely loud kaploo. I'm wondering whether because this one's further away it will compensate for that there. I'm not entirely sure. If not, then I can obviously turn down the thrust limiter on this one out here, which should compensate for the craft being from around the way it is. So we need to control from here, and we need to point, I think, prograde. Bring us about, and overshoot the mark. Yes, yeah, we need to actually point prograde. The cupola, obviously, it points. I could have sworn it pointed upwards when it was on the ground, which wouldn't make much sense. I'm not going to argue with it. I just know that it's it says we got to point that way, so we are going to point that way. But I am going to rotate the craft so the battery banks are at the top. So if we fire the engines and it doesn't quite work out, we will spin away from the moon and go off again. That makes sense. When these are firing, oh no, this would fire more, so it would actually come this way. Oh, whatever. I don't know. I'm beginning to lose the plot here. I think I'm not thinking straight for some reason, or things aren't exactly going the way I thought. I'll be honest with you, I could have sworn when I put this together I checked the center of mass with all this attached to it, and it was pretty much smack bang in the center there. It might have been a little tiny bit off, but certainly not enough to have that engine there spin the craft out of control when it's fired at more than about 10% thrust. That's a little odd. Right. So if I actually take off this here and set it to surface mode rather than target mode, then we would be pointing retrograde. Now everything makes sense. Okay. We'll also explain why my target kept moving as I was trying to sort things out, because the target is moving underneath us. The target was the moon. So that's lined up. That's where we need to go. We'll walk down to here somewhere and let's try this descent, and hopefully we won't explode. Enable crossfeed there. Gives me more fuel, means I can use this tank's fuel in all these engines down here. So yes, hopefully we can land without the explosions, without the nasty dying. No Kerbals to die anyway, but yeah, hopefully we can land intact and get the contract completed. And so we begin our slow descent down to the moon, or Mun, I think it's supposed to be pronounced, and I keep getting that wrong, but that big grey rock there. I did still have some issues with this craft flipping over. I tried balancing the engines as I was flying and sort of got it right and then got it wrong, and it flipped over and did all weird things. But eventually, after a fairly long and slow process, and me actually thinking I was going to crash straight into it. We got pretty low, pretty close to the surface, and just had to touch down. And touchdown. That was a bit faster than I expected, and the fuel is wow, that's quite low to say the least. I am going to transfer that into these here. Out and out. Fill up those outside tanks, please. And then I'm going to detach this, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. It can't really do a great deal, but that should have... Well, that's interesting. Apparently we don't have this ability to... The facility supports 12 Kerbals. Do we have to deploy these? Will they count? There we are. They've got to be deployed. Oh, had me worried for a moment there. Right, so let's detach that top bit there, and hopefully it doesn't destroy anything on the way down. No, it didn't. It's going to fall off quite generally, and bonk, off you go. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. That ring can fall off there as well. That little probe body there can do a good job. I don't know. Our electric charge is fine. We are gaining the electric charge, I think. Are we? Let's turn off the SES. We don't need that anymore. No, apparently we are losing electric charge. Ah, that's because the sun's gone down. That's fine. This facility doesn't need it anyway. It's fit for a purpose. It's trying to give us the 264,000. Thank you very much. Now we need to go back to our probe here, this one here, and finish that one off. And it was literally one tiny puff, less than a second was needed to complete this contract as well. There we are, another 132,000. So now we have our satellites in orbit, I think. Oh, that's obviously been... We've come... Yes, of course, we've already done the surveys of this planet. That's... this of the moon. I don't know quite what I was thinking there. I do know some of my text keeps going wrong. I don't know if you just saw that. Sometimes when I'm right-clicking at the moment, I'm getting... Well, right now I'm getting nothing when I right-click. But, there. Something odd is going on there. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think it really matters. More importantly, I want to change these so they don't moan about battery or signal because they're not important. Same for the other one. That one there. Bigger. No, we can't because we don't have any connection to it, so... Okay, we'll have to do that later. But, so, 3 contracts complete. Something weird going on with my text. But, success. So, let's go and see how the coffers look now. And here we are back at the Space Center with hopefully better audio quality. Sorry about that last bit there. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it sounded like I was in a bathtub and I don't know why. I've just noticed it when I'm playing back the video, so hopefully this is fixed now. Anyway, we're back and we have 769,110 Kerbal credits. The thing, I don't know what that symbol is there. It's a Kerbal symbol, it's something or other. We're not even halfway, are we? We need 1.7 million, basically. My maths fails me. 1.6 is 8, so no, we need about 850 to be halfway. We're not even halfway. So, yeah. we need more contracts. Let's go into mission control. And let's see what we can do here. We currently have gather data from around the moon. I thought we did that already. We can do that with one of the probes we've got around there. That's easy enough done. Right. Adjust places. Put a satellite in equatorial orbit. Let's build a new one. Temperature surveys of Kerbal. That's probably doable. Fish moon related one in an adjusted orbit. That's probably doable. We don't really want another surface outpost on Mimbus. Although that's a lovely amount of money. Needs to support 20 Kerbals, 1,500 units of monopropellant. Human pilot, 3 pilots. Motorized. Oh no, that's a little. I was thinking we could just send the same pod up, but it would have to be modified slightly to support 20 Kerbals. And we'd have to send 3 pilots with it. We've probably got 3 pilots, but no. What I want to look at is this one here. I avoided the rescue missions last time. Mainly because I've done lots of rescue missions because I tend to strand Kerbals. And I wanted to kind of avoid them because it's repetitive. But, as was pointed out in the comments, rescue missions are a very good way to get new Kerbals. And Kerbals cost hundreds of thousands to recruit. So, rescuing the Kerbal from the surface of the moon is probably doable. In fact, I'm pretty damn sure that's doable. And then we can bring them back and we get another Kerbal. Don't know who it's going to be. Could be a pilot, could be whatever, but she needs to be rescued. Janrina Kerbal needs rescuing from the surface of the moon. So, let's do that, shall we? Let's send her, bring her home. I might also pick up some of these ones here, and yeah, let's make the money. So I've done a few contracts to reposition some satellites, some around Kerbal and I think one around the moon, and that's helped with a couple of contracts. But I want to do our rescue mission. We've got to get to the moon to rescue Janrina, and to launch a craft from Kerbal that's got enough Delta V to get to the moon, land on the moon, take off from the moon and get back to Kerbal would cost 130 something thousand credits. We're going to get 191,000 back, so we would make money, but not a great deal. However, we can make more. Because the contract just simply says save Jansia Kerbal, return her to Kerbal, all we got to do, we can use our very laggy station, which has still got its broken RCS port there, but I've got no engineers. This, oh dear, this is very laggy indeed. This pod here, the one that isn't broken, it's now got fuel. I've filled the fuel up on it. There you are. I don't want repellents. I can top that up before we go. It's got about 1,900 meters a second on board. To get from low Kerbal orbit to the moon and back to low Kerbal orbit needs about 900. So we're good for that. This can go to the moon, rescue Janrina, and bring her back. But I don't have any way to get her down from here because none of these come with parachutes. Nope, I don't even think this one. No, none of these have got parachutes. But we could build a small ship that's just a little one-man pod thing with parachutes to drop down. I might actually take all of our Kerbals home, sort of abandon the station, bring the other one up, and then demolish this one. So yeah, because the frame rate here is absolutely awful. It's so slow and unresponsive. But in the meantime, I will fill up these monopropeller tanks and we shall aim straight for the moon. And here we are in orbit of the moon, and I am an idiot. I kind of realised it as I was firing the engine here, but I completely misread the Delta V planner. I had it set to I had it set from lower bit of Kerbin to the surface of the moon, I think it was. Or oh no, sorry, I had it set from the surface of the moon to the surface of Kerbin. It said 980 meters a second, and I doubled that up, and this graph was within the limit of it. My maths fails me now, but yeah. But what I've screwed up with this is that that's not correct. That's not what I wanted to do. From a lower bit of Kerbin to the surface of the moon is actually 1,930 meters a second on its own. The return trip is obviously less because you can aero brake, and I just took the return trip and doubled it, and it's not right. So this could land on the moon and could get Janarina, but well, that would be it. It wouldn't be able to do anything more. So yeah, these are designed badly by myself. I should have. I need to redesign these, rethink things through, but that doesn't help Janarina. She is down on that surface. She's definitely too far to walk to there. I don't think any of my rovers could drive to her. And she's on the wrong side of the planet for the moon base there. She's wrong side of the moon for the base that we just put down there. So I'm, rather than getting anywhere near her and causing her to load and do stuff, I am just going to leave the moon's sphere of influence and go back to Kerbin, and then go back to the drawing board and start again. However, before I do that, I will gather some science whilst we're here. We've done it all before, I know that already, but if I gather the science, log temperatures, and log pressure data, and whatever, we've done all that already. Log this one as well. Can't be done. We're not in atmosphere, of course. The reason behind that is that we do need to transmit data from the moon. Transmit or recover scientific data from around the moon. So I can take that back, and although it's nothing, I can transmit it from the station and then complete that contract. In the meantime, I would have to figure out something else for Janarina, because I'm very sorry, but we're going to have to temporarily leave you behind. But don't worry, we will be back. And here we are, down to nothing but our monopropellant, on a final approach with hopefully a dock. Oh, there we go. I think that's going to be good. On magic magnets, do your trick. Yes, burn all the fuel off, and pretty good for monopropellant actually. Managed to get, I think, 4.5 kilometers away and pretty much stopped before the fuel ran out. So that was good. It was very useful. Now we're wiggling and wobbling about. Stop. Stop that. Ah, there we are. Right, and we now want to data, transmit those, and that will complete the other contract. So, right, let's get these numbers straight, shall we? We are in low near-ish Kerbal orbit. It says 80 kilometers, but we're in low Kerbal orbit. To get from low Kerbal orbit to low moon orbit, we need 1,290 meters a second of delta V. 1290. To then get from the low orbit of the moon down to the surface, we need 640. To get from the surface back to low orbit will be another 640. And then to get from low orbit of the moon to low orbit of Kerbal, it says 340. That includes aero braking. So, okay, 340. Right. So, let's see here. It's been a long time since I've done any math, to be honest with you. I'm so lazy using a calculator. Right, 4, 12, 21. Right. So, if my maths is correct, it should be 1,910 meters a second we would need. There we are. Mission complete. Excellent. Right. So, I'm going to double check with a calculator. What was it? 1,290 plus 640 plus 640 plus 340 is 2,910. Look at that. I was 1,000 delta V out because I didn't add up correctly. That would have been terrible. So, 3,000 meters a second we need to get from here to there and back again with Genrina. Apparently we only have 1,700 meters a second with everything here. I don't quite think that's right. Because that, mind you, this is quite heavy and laggy and mad. Right, okay, I will add things up in my head and I shall be right back because I need to just quickly check something. Right, so I just went back on the footage to find out exactly how much delta V that had when I attached it from the station, when it was all full. And it was 1,800-ish meters a second, which is not far off that number there. So, this and this are constructed similarly. Not quite, so I'm not sure whether this is going to be the same. But if it is, we'll just say for argument's sake, this one and that one both have the same delta V. Added together, both of them will come to 3,600. That's enough for, hopefully, one of these to push the other one. Obviously, when they're attached together, that's going to be different. I've got deja vu because we've done this before, haven't we? We've attached these two craft together and gone to Minmus, if memory serves. So, again, I should be right back. I'm going to go and check the footage of that one just to find out exactly how much delta these two had when they were attached to each other. Okay, a quick look at that video, and these two attached with the Minmus rover as well. They had 1,600 and a little bit of delta V. That is enough to get from low orbit Kerbal to the moon, and then low orbit of the moon back to Kerbal. So, I could do that. Decisions. I'm not quite sure where I want to go with this. I'm just not sure whether I should perhaps just fill this up with monopropellant. Go. This one can't land. It's got a landing gear. But I mean, I got more than 340 meters a second of monopropellant in there. I'm sure I have, because it was burning off quite nicely before. Do you know what? I've done crazy missions before where I'm not entirely sure whether the delta V is going to be right, so I'm going to do it again. I will refuel both of these, and I will then... I can't repair that, but yeah, I'll refuel both of these, dock them together, and we'll head back out to the moon again and call the first one a dress rehearsal. Yeah? Yeah. So, some little experimentation later, and I used all the RCS up in this big tank. I fired these RCS thrusters off and pointed at the moon and burn it all off in one orbit, and actually managed to get the Delta V up to 2130, which still isn't technically enough to get to the moon. However, if I disable that again, we got 904, and we have a maneuver here which is 565. That will get us to a 14-kilometer encounter with the moon. When we get up there, I will slow down and orbit and try and land. The idea I had was that I don't need to bring all these back. This stage, this half of it here, could quite happily sit in orbit of the moon forever, and I could just bring this stage back, or vice versa. I could bring this one back and do that. But yeah, basically only half of this needs to return. I don't know which one's the lighter half. I think this one, now that there's no more propellant there, so we might come back in that one. And also I've got two pilots, because the idea was going to be to leave one in orbit to re-rendezvous with it, and yeah. But I will just transfer Valentina, who's in this one, over to this one, because this one's actually one that will land. So I could take straight from the moon and come back to Kerbal. I could plan it in one go, which will save on Delta V. So that's the plan. The plan is to use all the fuel in this tank to get to a sort of orbit on the moon, and then use the fuel in this tank and the little more propellant we have to land, and then come home. The numbers, I don't really know, because I'm not exactly in a circular orbit and I am higher than the 80 kilometers it says. Maybe it's a bit less, I don't know. The only real way I'm going to find out is to give it a go, because, well, crazy things have happened and I've managed to muscle through them. So yeah, let's do this. Let's activate this engine here, and we have a 72-second burn in 53 minutes. So I will do that maneuver and I will then see you at the moon. And as we slowly approach the moon here, it's time to bring this episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope to see you again next time. And of course, as always, have fun.